Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Blue here, and we are back with another weekly update video. So this one, we're updating the Feral Druid. As you guys have known, I ran Feral Druid this week. We did the updated video, the in-depth guide. I'm going to give you a little detail. So I was watching the video myself, going through the video myself. I was trying to make things a little clearer. So I originally went through and I kind of edited it and talked about what I was doing. And then I went through again after that and I put some things up on the screen. I just want to touch a few points to make it as clear as possible. And the first thing is, when should you be using Primal Wrath? Very easy. You should be Primal Wrathing. Primal Wrath will only do more damage than Ferocious Bite. It's a little bit more damage only if the ticks fall off. So if it's 2 targets, for Primal Wrath will do more damage than Ferocious Bite, but only if the entire dot ticks off. If it's not that, then it's not the case. Then Ferocious Bite, right? Damage is pretty minimal there, but Primal Wrath does win. Okay, so just remember full ticks, right? Now, something else you need to understand. With these builds, we're gonna be. Oh, kids coming in. What's going on, Elijah? You can come on over here if you want. With these builds, the biggest ability when you think about your combo point gainers, the biggest ability that you will have, the strongest ability, I'm sorry, is Rake. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. Is Rake is your strongest ability. We're doing a video, bud. You want to be quiet? Play with your car. Oh, so this is my kid. He's a Christmas Eve baby, so his birthday is actually tomorrow. So happy birthday, Elijah. Calm down right now. Okay, sorry, apologize about that. So, Rake. Rake is your strongest combo point gainer, single target, and a majority even AoEs, okay? So, the only time this changes is if you have 7 targets or six or more targets. If you have 6 or more targets, Rake ends up doing more damage than a single, or no, sorry, Swipe does more damage than a single Rake, right? Because your swipe does minimal damage, but with 6 or 7 or other targets, if you can hit them all together, that will do more damage than your Rakes, right? So only then will you be raking. Now, what do you do about Thrash? You should pretty much never be using Thrash. Now, the only situation which you should be using Thrash is, let's say I'm going up to a pack. I already know before I get to this pack, my tank's going to be pulling 2 or 3 packs together. This is going to be in that situation where I'm not going to rake anything. I'm just going to be using my swipe, right? Well, swipe does more damage if they're bleeding. And usually that's fine because we can, normally if we don't have as many targets, we kind of rake all the targets. After we're done raking, we can swipe them. We can Primal Wrath them. With Primal Wrath and Rake, usually we don't have to worry. The targets are already bleeding, right? But what if I'm going into a mob, going into a group that's 6 or more, and I'm just starting fresh? What should I do? Well, I would Thrash, in that case, just to apply a bleed so that your swipes can actually do that 20% increased damage, right? That is the only time, because we're not going to be trying to rake through those 6 mobs. At that point, you're going to be energy starved. You're not going to be able to get the full kit. So Thrash, swipe, 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 Primal Fury, and then after that, super simple. Now the whole rotation will be swipe, 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 Primal Wrath, swipe, 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 Primal Wrath. Until targets start dying, and then if there's some targets that die really soon, or some targets are bigger, you're like, okay, now maybe I'm going to be changing the rules up. Maybe now I'm actually going to be playing some Rakes. It depends on their health pool, obviously. But that's it. Actually, it's very simple. And then you should still be biting, but bites are a little bit harder to do. It depends on how many people you have. But apply those bites in between your Primal Wraths if you're available. You have to judge your energy, right? If I got 4 mobs, I'm probably not going to have that opportunity. I probably won't even be able to do that, right? And the reasoning because I got to rake every single target. By the time I'm done raking them, right, I'm probably not even having enough energy. Okay, so how do I want to talk about how I feel about Feral? I really like Feral. Someone asked me a question. They say, hey, is Feral more gear dependent? And I said, no, it's actually not. Last patch, extremely gear dependent. This one, a little bit more forgiving, right? Mastery's up there, crit's up there. Versatility, it's still doing pretty good. Haste is kind of bad, but I mean, there's a lot more stats that are stronger or near each other, right? If you're like trying to just do that single target builds, yeah, crit and mastery, right? But it's not as gear dependent. We still do very well in Mythic Plus. Now, how do I feel about raids? Well, I've been doing a lot of Mythic Pluses and as Feral with this build right here. A lot of you guys have been asking me about builds. Don't do this. Don't do Affinity. You want to go balance, right? The only reason I do Resto Affinity is I actually I queue up as tank and healer, and I go Feral. I tank as Feral. I Feral as a healer just to get this bag. It's like a 1K in there, and it's about 2K with the augment runes, right? So that's pretty much how I'm making my money now because I'm lazy. So pretty much this is the build for AoE except for Unbalanced Affinity, right? Now for raid, Brutal Slash is in there, okay? Brutal Slash is the strongest single target build, and this is certain bosses. Let's say Zek Vaz or any AoE boss, Primal Wrath. Now, how do I feel about Brutal Slash? After running this build with Primal Wrath, I'm gonna say, like, I don't like it. I really don't like Brutal Slash. It changes your rotation, and it makes it just it makes it really awkward. I hate to say like awkward, but it does. It makes it just strange. It doesn't really flow together very well, and I don't like it. I don't like it. You know, it's just like, oh well, you know, I have my Brutal Slashes, but I'm pretty much only using them with my Tiger's Fury. I'm going to pop all 3 in a row, wait for that 4th one I'll come off cooldown, pop that 4th one as well, and then just wait for them again. It's just really, it's strange. I don't really like it. And then sometimes, like if you're running Mythic Plus, you're like, oh, when should I actually be using my Brutal Slashes? You know, it's really awkward. And as well, you can run Brutal Slash in Mythic Plus. Probably not with this build. Probably not with Sabretooth. With Predator, you probably can. But it's going to affect your single target boss damage, right? I mean, you know, like it's going to be okay towards the top because you got those Brutal Slashes. You pop everything, you Brutal Slash everything, and it's going to slowly decay. And the reason because of that is our top damage is Ferocious Bite, right? And without this, we have to apply our rip. We don't want to apply our rip. We want a Ferocious Bite every single time we have full combo points. With this now, I got to reapply my rip. You know, and it's just like, so it will be affecting your single target quite a bit. Now, if, you know, like I feel without Predator, I feel like we still maintain very good AoE. I don't think it's a problem at all. So I choose that. So if that's what you're thinking, Brutal Slash and Predator, maybe go for it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But that's how I feel. You guys, I do want to promote. Let's see. I do want to promote the Twitch. We're going to be running Twitch next week. So I'm going to pull up my Twitch right here. Okay, it's looking pretty crappy. It's going to look that way until probably like a few weeks until I get into it. What I want to show you here is the name. So it's Blue, B-L-U, and then it's an / Closet Gamer. So that's how you can search for me if you haven't already. That's how you'll find me. As for new different types of apps or anything, I haven't really decided on that. This week's been really chaotic, and I'm sorry to get the video out so late. But I do like the idea of maybe exploring some kind of Twitch or Twitter or Instagram, and I could post something so you guys know when I come on. I think I'm gonna try to do that. But what I may do is I just may put on my page somewhere some like notes where it's just like, hey, expect me on at these hours, and I'll just say like Eastern time. You know, like I'm in Arizona. Arizona doesn't abide by those crazy times. We don't ever times change. So I'll try to give that for you guys to make it easy for you guys to tell. But I'm usually on after 9 o'clock after I put this bad boy to bed, which he's up a little bit late right now. But that's it, you guys. So there's the Twitch account. You have that. Next, what I need to know, leave a comment. what do you want me to play next week? Next week I'll be playing it all next week. I'll be doing keys. I'll probably still try to raid as Pharaoh. We'll see how it goes. I actually did not get to raid at all this week. And let me tell you what happened. So I did not know, I'm doing the pug life, right? And I'm checking it out, and I'm like, yo, I want to at least get Zek Voz down. I want to get Zek Voz, maybe try for the 4th boss, because I still need gear, right? And I'll jump on a few times, and at nighttime, and I'm like, hey, looking at the raids, and I'm like, hey, what's available? Let's even check right now. Check this out, right? So I only want Mythic. I don't care about this other stuff. Okay, right here, Mythic Zek. Nice. Okay, so I should have waited. But all I've been seeing is Talic and Mother. Talic and Mother. This is pretty much all I've seen all week, right? So I finally see this Mythic Zek Voz progression. I'm just like, dude, at least it's progression, right? Because I don't care about the first 2 bosses. So I joined the group, and I didn't even know about my time. I didn't know the situation was. I was like just so excited. I'm like, oh, Zek Voz group. Join the group. Walk in there, help them clear a few bits of trash, and then my wife comes in. She's like, "Hey, we gotta go," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness." So I did not get any raiding done. I got saved to some trash, and that's it, you guys. But that's it for the raiding. I don't really mind. It's fine. It is what it is. Probably wasn't gonna get gear anyways. But that's it. Leave a comment. What do you want me to play next week? And check out the Twitch. That's it, everyone. Take it easy. Bye.